today I thought I'd go somewhere slightly different than usual. It's a bit of a warmer day today. It's supposed to eventually sort of get into the low 30s. So I thought instead of heading into Wombat as usual, I thought I'd head into higher ground where it's a slightly bit cooler. So currently I'm on Middle Gully Road heading up towards Mt Macedon Regional Park. So I mean, not that Wombat is low in altitude, it's sort of averages between 500 to 600 meters, but where I'm heading at the moment is more like the 8 to 1,000 meter, and generally speaking, you certainly can tell the temperature difference. As soon as you get up there, it is cooler. Passing a couple of, on my right, some of the water reservoirs here in Macedon, neither of which can be accessed by, you know, unauthorized people. Be great fishing spots if you could get to them, but unfortunately you can't. So just making my way down here. Eventually I'm going to head into Baldwin's road, where I will start to sort of creep my way up the mountain. It's a very lovely ride through here. Even though I've done this dozens of times, it's always nice to come back from. Diversion here, sort of a bit of a shortcut, you may say. Up on the pegs, it's a little bit rough here, not overly rough, but because I keep my air pressures sort of in that happy medium between bitumen and dirt, it can get a little bit bumpy even on very mild stuff like this, but I have my pressures up around the 17 psi back and front. If I was doing purely dirt, I'd reduce that down to maybe about 14, maybe even 13. Some would argue even lower, but and then for the road, you'd obviously, you know, have them up in the 20s, maybe even as much as 25. A little bit dusty here, looks like someone's just driven down. So this is Baldwin's Road, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it looks like I'll be eating a little bit of dust, but that's dirt bike riding, so looks like the wind's a little bit favourable up the top there, blowing it to the side so it doesn't come at me. I believe it's Mt Macedon Winery just on my left here. Never been there for any reason, but I'm sure it's a lovely place. Alright, so here's where I'm going to dart off. So just that track up on my left is Chute track, I believe. Now this is in the regional park. All of that in front of me is regional park. Much of it is walking trails and mountain that are sort of darted along the side of the mountain here to allow walkers to be able to walk up to the summit, up to where the memorial cross is. But this is the track. which is seasonally closed, but at the moment it's not. Since I've been down here. From memory, I've got to stay to the left here. I did check it out on the maps before I came. So, I'm somewhat familiar with where I need to go. I have been up this way partially, but then kind of turned around. There are walkers that use this track as well, but they tend to not use this specific one, they tend to use the other ones. So this one is the longer hike to the summit, whereas the other ones are much shorter, sort of more direct. Memory, it's quite rocky track eventually. At the moment it's okay, but it gets quite rocky later on. And like I said, I've partially gone down it. Now, if you've been following sort of latest trends in terms of moves towards you know, creating national parks or converting state forests into national parks, you know, it's hard to tell for how much longer tracks like this will be available at all, because the way the powers that be at the moment are operating is that they're restricting more and more use of parks and forests. So, and you know, specifically there's certain powers that be that are more responsible for this than others, and they're not the ones that I voted for. So if you're upset about all this happening and you voted for the type of government that's responsible for it, well then you've kind of got yourself partially to blame. A bit of a hill climb here, bit ruddy, bit rocky. Hopefully I don't stack it. The climb itself isn't the problem, it's hitting the rock on the wrong angle or something that can sort of set you off. That's the main issue. Anyway, the last time I got somewhere about this far, then I sort of turned around, but this time I plan on going a little bit further. It's like another track heading that way, but in some spots. So yeah, a bit cooler up here. I'm probably around the 800 meter mark, if I had to guess. Maybe even 900. Alright, bit of a steep. Bit of a steep descent here. Not sure what I'm getting myself into. That's a bit of a, looks like a bit of a way down. But anyway, I'll slowly just creep my way down. Some say that descent should be treated much like, you know, you'd be riding a flat ground. But I kind of beg to differ. The big difference is obviously stopping power. When you're going downhill and you want to sort of regain control, it can often be quite difficult because you're at speed and the brakes and tyres can only do so much. And we've got a bit of a climb out of here, but that looks fairly doable. Hopefully I don't eat my own words. Quite rocky here. I mean, they're not huge rocks, but still. Neutral so that I don't accidentally twist the throttle. Well, I was expecting to do a bit better than that. The only problem I have is I don't know how much more, if there's any more hill climbs. There probably bloody is. I should just check on the map just to see. Alright, hit a bit of a rock there, and I was in second, but I wanted to do a quick switcheroo to first and then keep ploughing up, but then it didn't quite work that way. I'm just kind of thinking, should I give it another crack? Might get down a bit lower, plug it in first and then just putt my way up. So I think it could be the last hill climb, and then after that it's all. Alright, let's give it one more. Keep ploughing. As the apprentice adventurer would say, go Sally. that's done. It's probably small potatoes when it comes to hill climbs and what others do, but for a permanent novice like me, yeah, that kept me a little bit on edge, because you know you're up an incline. Here's the problem: you're on an incline and it's rocky. You hit a rock in the wrong way, and then it throws you off, and you end up stalling and stopping. But of course, being on a hill, if you end up sideways, depending on how you land, if you accidentally land slope down, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. So there's things to think about. You know, there's some people that just don't give a shit and they'll just do whatever, and they don't think about these things, they just go for it. But you know, people like me, well, we got to go to work on Monday, so definitely is something to think about. But you know what, grouse track though, it's kind of that balance between it's not exactly it's a wide track, but you know, it's got a little bit of challenge to it. And now I've just literally hit a snag. I'm not sure if I can get around this. In fact, I don't see it. I don't see a way of getting around. This tree, I don't know how long it's been here. It's not recent because the leaves are fairly dry. I don't know if there's a little trail, but not that I particularly want to be going down there and then tracks tend to lead to some other track in most cases. So this thing looks more walking track than it does, although it looks like vehicles have been through here. Oh no, definitely vehicles have been through here at times. But not very often, and not for a while it looks like. Down here before, but I went down that left track down there and then kind of went around somewhat before I turned around. This is pretty much the main road here coming up, and a picnic ground, I believe. That's it, there's the main road.